Hi, I'm Mindy. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my September TBR, and this is my birthday month coming up, and I decided to change up my TBR to add a little bit of fun to it. So I'm going to do a very simple TBR game, and I'm going to use 2 dice. One has 6 sides and one has 4. And I'm going to roll both of these to see how many books will be on my TBR. And so the smallest number I can get is 2. The biggest number I can get is 10. And the odds of the smallest or the biggest numbers are very small, and the middle numbers have a much higher chance. And after I find out how many books I'm going to be picking, then I'm going to use a random picker wheel. There it is. And it has all of the prompts that I could think of. I put on this. There will be a bit of a challenge added if I don't finish all the books on my random TBR. It's going to add another level of complexity to my dice game. So, the first time around, I just roll those dice once and then pick that many prompts and then choose what I'm going to read. So the first thing we need to do is roll the dice. Okay, so here's my roll. So I don't know if these are pretty dark dice, but got a 6 and a 1. So 7 books. Okay, so I'm going to be choosing 7 rolls of the wheel. I'm going to turn this down. Okay. Are you ready? A Kindle book. A Kindle book. I have a lot of books on my Kindle that I need to read, so this works perfectly. Roll number 2. Book by a booktuber. Awesome! I have the perfect book for this in September. Yes! What will it be? Anthology? Okay. I don't think I had any anthologies planned, but I have so many that I need to get to. We'll see what I come up with. A horror book. All right. You know, I'm always wanting to read a horror book. And fifth spin. Fantasy book. I have a lot of fantasy books that I need to read too. Okay. Getting a nice selection of different kinds of books. I'm loving this so far. Roll number 6. A book of the month book. Book of the month book. Sweet. Yeah, so many unread book of the month books on my shelves, and it's a problem, so nice. And the last spin. Ooh, another horror book. I just leave all of the prompts on the wheel every time, and I got another horror book, which is plenty fine by me. Thank you, spinner wheel. That was so helpful. Now I'm gonna go figure out what I'm gonna read for those 7 prompts, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now what did I pick? First random roll was to read a Kindle book. I'm counting that as any book I have on my Kindle app, and for that I chose The Animal by Chad Nicholas. I have read his 2 other books and love them, and he has a new book coming out October 3rd called The Animal. He reached out and gave me a copy for review, so I'm excited to be reading that in September. Roll number 2 was to read a book by a booktuber, and for this one I'm going to be reading Thanks for the Memory by James Flynn, and this book is being published October 1st, and I have read and reviewed a couple of other James Flynn books, and I just love his writing, so I am excited to read this sci-fi novella about a world where social media has taken over people's lives, and a man posts something on this new social media site that he really shouldn't have. Roll 3 was to read an anthology, and this is a tough one because I have a lot of stuff I want to read, and okay, I'm gonna read The Weird, a compendium of strange and dark stories, edited by Ann and Jeff VanderMeer, because in September, the end of September, is the Week of Weird, hosted by Fiber Artsy and Jason's Weird Reads. So this will be perfect for that readathon. I am not going to make myself read all of this, but I do need to make a dent in it, like a normal size book amount of dent into it, which I plan on reading quite a few stories, so I'm looking forward to that. Roll 4 was to read a horror book, and I will be reading Mouthful of Ashes by Briana Morgan, because this is the Reaper Book Club pick for September, hosted by Katrina Brown, and Katrina picked me to be her co-host in September, and I'm so looking forward to reading this horror novella about vampires at a carnival, and I'm just hoping that it has amazing Lost Boys vibes. That would make my little heart happy for my birthday. Roll number 5 was to read a fantasy book, and I'm going to read The Midnight Kingdom by Tara Sim. And this is the second book in the Dark Gods series, and This one was just published on August 22nd, and I haven't gotten a chance to read it yet. So that fit in perfectly with this TBR. Prompt number 6 was to read a book of the month book, and I was not planning on reading any book of the month books, so this is an added book to my TBR. But Upgrade by Blake Crouch is a book I've been wanting to read forever. It's a sci-fi thriller, and I think his sci-fi thrillers are so much fun, and they're really fast reads, so I think this is a great one for sci-fi September. Yeah, this will be good. Good read. And the last prompt is to read another horror book. Horror came up twice, and for that I've chosen The Damnation Game by Clive Barker. I recently read The Books of Blood by Clive Barker, and all-time favorite horror short stories. Those are so good. So The Damnation Game is a good thing to follow it up with, I hope. And this is also the book I picked for the Buzzword Reading Challenge 2023, hosted by Books and Lala. And the September prompt is to read a book with game or game-related words in the title. So Damnation Game. Perfect. And it even has a playing card on there. Double whammy on the games. There is a lot more that I want to read in September. I am finishing up this big fantasy book, Phineas Fogg, Book 1, Nine of Swords, by Brooklyn Quintana. I still have 5 days left in the month, and I'm halfway through. So I have about 390 pages left, I think. So if I'm not done with this in the next 5 days, I'll be finishing it up in September. The Pyramid Book Club, hosted by Books with Lexi and Michelle's Library. Their September pick is Ascension by Nicholas Binge, which is a book I picked up from Aardvark Book Club and really want to read. So if I have time, I'd love to read this. Also, the Spooky Book Club pick for September is Mr. Magic by Kiersten White, a new release that I am dying to read, so I'll be reading that one in September as well. I also need to finish Spin a Black Yarn by Josh Malerman. That was just released on August 15th, so I really need to get that one done in September. I'm very behind in arcs, as you can tell. I would like to get to Cold, Black, and Infinite by Todd Keisling, which is going to be published September 1st by Cemetery Dance. So I'd like to get to that one in September sometime as well. And then The Sight by Melanie Golding is another one being published in September on September 5th. Then A Sword of Bronze and Ashes. Oh, I love that title. That book is by Anna Smith Spark, coming out from Flame Tree Press on September 12th. So I'm probably going to be late for all of those, but I'd like to read them in September. I have a whole list of October books I managed to fit in. Thanks for the Memory and The Animal into my random TBR picks. But I would also like to get to Frostbite by Angela Sylvaine. She emailed me and sent me a copy for review, and that is being published October 10th. So those are the ones that I've decided to focus on in September to read. Now for more on the Week of Weird, hosted by Fiber Artsy and Jason's Weird Reads. It's the last week of September, and I will be reading a good chunk from the Weird anthology. But I also have 2 books that I started last year, or the last Week of Weird, that I would like to make some progress in as well. And that is Songs of a Dead Dreamer and Grimscribe by Thomas Ligotti. I'm loving these stories. They're so good and weird. And then Borne by Jeff VanderMeer. This is also a science fiction. So I have a few science fiction books in my pile for Sci-Fi September. And yeah, I've already started them, so I just need to finish them up. I've just realized I don't have any audiobooks on this list. They're all ebooks and a few physical books. So I will also be reading some audiobooks just because that's what I like to do as I'm working on other things. But at the moment, I don't know what those will be. So let me know what you think of my new random way of choosing some of my TBR and what you think of these books I've picked. Are you excited for any of them, or have you read any of them? What do you think? And I will be back very soon with another book-related video. Thanks. Bye.